Hello viewers and welcome to episode 43 of F1 Talk. Today we'll be going over the talking points of the Korean Grand Prix that took place last Sunday. To begin with, I am fully aware that this episode is a few days late. Certain circumstances have prevented me from recording this until today, so I apologise for this delay. We'll dive into the action now, and yet again Mark Webber's questionable starting prowess enabled Sebastian Vettel to take the lead from his teammate on the first corner. We were all shocked to see that Romain Grosjean of Lotus managed to get through the first turn without incident. However, there was still contact this time between McLaren's Jenson Button and Sauber's Kamui Kobayashi. This was disappointing as it had only been a week since Kobayashi's first podium finish. Button instantly retired and Kamui was out a couple of laps later. Another retirement for Mercedes, this time involving Nico Rosberg. This time happened on the DRS straight, only one of them as I predicted in my preview show. He'd managed to drive the car into one of the escape roads on the straight where the barriers were cut away, but his retirement had caused the yellow flag in the area where the DRS zone should have been activated after the second lap. As a result of these yellow flags and the amount of time it took the marshals to move the stricken Mercedes, the DRS was activated after 6 or 7 laps, leaving non-DRS sized gaps between many of the cars. We did get quite a bit of on-track action thanks to the DRS and the long straight it was activated on. Earlier on, we retreated onto a good fight between the Williams and the Toro Rossos, all 4 drivers in action. The Williams drivers had lots of difficulty in setting up their cars for this track, and they were getting hunted down by both Ricciardo and Verne, who were revealed in commentary to have the fastest straight line speed of the entire field. Lewis Hamilton had problems with his car with high tyre degradation. He had a good battle with the Lotus of Kimi Raikkonen for a few laps. You would think that the McLaren would have the advantage in terms of pace, but the Lotus looked like the faster car. By lap 26, Kimi Raikkonen had passed Lewis and pulled out a nice gap. The 2 drivers who were stuck to each other like glue were Paul di Resta of Force India and Michael Schumacher of Mercedes. When the cameras needed to see action, we cut to see the pair of them in action. Seems as though Ferrari could well be keeping Felipe Massa, and breaking news that I managed to see yesterday means that Massa has indeed signed a 1-year contract extension. More on that a little bit later. He was quick enough, I do believe, in this Grand Prix to pass Fernando. There's no doubt about it that Fernando's championship bid has affected Felipe in this Korean Grand Prix. Felipe was easily the faster car. He would have easily passed Webber. He might have even caught and passed Vettel for the race win, but Ferrari were only thinking about Alonso's title bid. As a result, Felipe only finished 4th. Lewis Hamilton in the McLaren, his race had been compromised by bad tyre degradation and he had to come in for a 3rd pit stop near the end of the race, which left him behind both Toro Rossos. Even with a fresh set of the super soft option tyres, he couldn't make the passes he needed to keep his title hopes alive. His race went from bad to worse as he picked up some AstroTurf from the track in Sector 3, which had become loose during the race. This has affected his aerodynamics rather badly, and the McLaren was slipping off the pace by about 1.5 seconds per lap. This led Lewis to have a battle with the Sauber of Sergio Perez in the closing laps, in which he only just finished ahead of the Mexican to score the single championship point for 10th place. No such problems for the race winner Sebastian Vettel, who yet again used his much improved Red Bull to perfection. Towards the end of the race, his race engineer was worried about the right front tyre degradation, saying the tyre could burst and puncture at any moment. Sebastian carefully used the tyre management, slowing down considerably to avoid the tyre blowout. He crossed the finish line to win his 3rd race in succession and has moved to the top of the drivers' standings as a result of his form. Mark Webber finished 2nd, taking what could prove to be a pivotal 3 points away from Alonso, who finished 3rd. So now on to the race results. First off, with yet another dominating display, Sebastian Vettel in the Red Bull. 2nd, Mark Webber, who could basically do nothing about his teammates' pace up front. Fernando Alonso 3rd in the 1st Ferrari. Felipe Massa 4th, who should have got at least 2nd in my opinion. Kimi Raikkonen 5th. Nico Hulkenberg 6th in the Force India. Great result for Nico, who was one of the favourites to take Massa's seat at Ferrari, in my opinion, no doubt about it. Romain Grosjean, an incident-free race, finished in 7th. Bit conservative, I think, with Grosjean, in my opinion. There's doubts whether a racing driver has the ability to pass a car, and it's been said about Ayrton Senna, if he gave you time to pass you, or if he gave you a space to use, he didn't consider himself a racing driver. Maybe the same could be said for Romain Grosjean. Not that I'm comparing the two in any stretch of the imagination. Maybe that's what Grosjean feels about his competitors. In 8th, Jean-Eric Vergne in the Toro Rosso. Brilliant weekend for Toro Rosso, really, if you think about it. They were outpacing the McLarens. They almost caught up with Grosjean by the end of the race. Daniel Ricciardo 9th. And getting the solitary point in 10th is Lewis Hamilton, as I've described earlier. On to the driver standings. Sebastian Vettel now leads the championship with 215. Alonso down to 2nd, he's on 209. Kimi Raikkonen on 167. 4th in the drivers is now Lewis Hamilton. He only scored a point. He's on 153. Mark Webber on 152. Jenson Button on 131. Nico Rosberg 7th in the Mercedes with yet another second DNF in a row. He's on 93. Romain Grosjean is 8th with 88. Felipe Massa 9th on 81. And Sergio Perez in the Sauber on 66. Now on to the Constructors Standings. Red Bull and I'm looking at these Constructors Standings, they've not been updated, so I do apologise for that. That's better, I've got the standings now. Here we go. Red Bull top with 367. Ferrari second on 290. McLaren on 284. Lotus on 255, Mercedes 5th on 136, Sauber 6th on 116, Force India 89, Williams 8th with 58, Toro Rosso with 21, with the 3 newer teams still yet to score, but Marussia ahead with good drives from their 2 drivers, Charles Pic and Timo Glock. In conclusion, we can clearly see that the Red Bull is now the car and team to beat. Mark Webber got the pole position, but Vettel took the initiative and the race victory. Ferrari could have let Massa challenge for the win, but I believe Alonso's title bid takes precedence over anything else. McLaren are firmly out of the hunt now for both championships and are beginning to fall off the pace. Button only managed 11th in qualifying and Lewis Hamilton struggled in the race. However, I still believe that the McLarens will have a big say in who wins the Drivers' Championship this year, as Red Bull seem to have the Constructors' Championship all but sewn up. Only McLaren can stop them, and with the form of the 2 teams, it would be a brave man betting against the Red Bulls. As for the Drivers' Championship, it's obvious that it's between 2 drivers. Alonso needs to win the next time out in India, and he needs Vettel to finish at the very highest in 3rd or lower. So at the moment it's advantage Sebastian. Will it stay that way? Only time will tell. As I said, there's been a small amount of news since the Grand Prix took place. As I relayed earlier, that Felipe Massa signed the 1-year extension for the 2013 season. This tells me that the contract with Vettel is more or less solid for 2014. We'll just have to see what goes on in the next 12 months or so. So that's about it for this edition of Formula 1 Talk. I thank you for watching. Post your comments, suggestions and reply videos if you will. I apologise again for the delay of the episode. I will endeavour to make sure that these episodes get out earlier on in the week. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for more Formula 1 Talk.